If you are a founder and the CEO scaling a company and you are having trouble getting your team to take ownership of their role and take initiative, like go above and beyond, there are three primary shifts that need to happen. Let's get into them. Before we jump too far into the three, I need to preface this by giving you some hard truths. The hard truth being, this is your fault. It is your fault that they're not taking ownership and taking initiative, and that's okay. That's actually a good thing because that means you have the power to change things. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. If you're still with me, let's get into the three. The first thing being is that you probably haven't created a culture of ownership. Right. So the first step is creating a culture of ownership. And so what this looks like in practicality, and maybe this is helpful to come at from kind of the mistake that most founders make. The mistake that most founders make is that they micromanage. They assign tasks. Good CEOs, good leaders, on the other hand, assign outcomes. And that's a key difference. Okay. So you're having a conversation with your leadership team. A good leader would say, hey guys, here's our revenue target for the next quarter. VP of sales, go. What needs to happen in order for us to hit our revenue target? Okay, cool. Now, marketing, what needs to happen in order to enable sales to meet their quota? You're asking them to create the strategy that is in alignment with the larger goal. That alone will fix a lot of your ownership issues. From there, once they have buy-in and they're a part of the solution, a part of the strategy creation, then you need clear expectations, right? Everyone needs to understand what success looks like. That means clear metrics, okay? Then you need systems for accountability. Typically, this is just meetings, right? Like how often are we meeting? How often are we communicating about these things? How often are we tracking these metrics? And then you need to reward good behavior that drives the desired outcomes. That's key. Reward good behavior that lead to good outcomes. Yes, reward the outcomes, but more than anything, we want to highlight the behaviors that make those outcomes inevitable. The second shift that needs to happen is translating your vision into actual results. Okay, most founders that I work with are visionary by nature. However, most have a hard time reverse engineering the steps that are required to accomplish that vision. And when you can't clearly identify the steps that are required to accomplish your vision, that leaves your team kind of murky, right? Like they don't really know, they know what the goal is, but they don't know how to achieve that goal. And this connects to our first point, right? You need to be able to create high level strategy and then go to your team and say, now plug and chug. I've created the roadmap. Now you guys navigate, you guys get us there. If you don't know how to create a strategy, I've got a free strategic clarity playbook that I go through with all of my 7 and 8 figure founder clients, helps them think clearly, helps them make better decisions, and helps them kind of tell the future, if you will. So if you are struggling here, let me know. I'll get you the playbook. Shift number three is that you need to close the gap between your current self as a leader and your ideal self, what I call your iconic self. Um, the thing that I know to be true above all else is that your company's growth will never outpace your capacity to lead it. And so if you are going to scale your company to the level that you aspire to and that you've told your team that we're going to, well then you need to become the person and the founder and the leader who can lead the company to that level. So if you are constantly stressed, feeling overwhelmed, you're scattered, you have trouble making key decisions, like you are the problem. You are the thing that's capping your growth, and your team is feeding off of that energy, by the way, right? So they see you scattered, overwhelmed, stressed, and like they're going to mirror that at best. So you need to create personal systems that mirror your business systems and personal systems that allow you to show up at your best, at your highest capacity, day in and day out. When these three shifts come together, you stop being the bottleneck of your growth. That's super important. The second thing that happens is that your team start taking full ownership because you've given them clarity and you created a culture of ownership that not only allows them to drive progress and drive work, but also frees you from the work that you've been complaining about for years. And finally, it allows you to grow sustainably. Hopefully, you guys were taking notes. That ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated it to be, but hopefully, it's helpful. If it is, make sure you follow for more. And if you need that free playbook so that you can start leading strategically rather than reactively, let me know. Comment playbook in the comments.